Well, holy Shazam, Grace, that was a beautiful intro you've got there. Hi, I'm Michael.
And I'm Grace. And
we are
California
Travel Videos.
Shazam.
Beautiful intro you've got there. I hear a little echo. Maybe you can turn down the volume a little bit on your YouTube instance. So, well, welcome everybody. It's good to have you. We're still kind of tweaking the dials with our show times, but thank you for being here this evening. And do we have anybody that signed in yet? I'll go ahead and say howdy, Y, ALL. Howdy, y'all. That's my southern part. I hope all you people down south are thawing out and things are looking better there. Here in California, it's a rainy day today. And that means, well, what does it mean, darling? No RVing today, right?
It means that instead of deodorant under my armpits, I've got some biofreeze because I made a boo-boo.
That's right. That's nice of you to share your being intimate, darling. I thank you for that. It's
burning just a little.
Yeah. I was telling Grace at one time, I was young and, I had my Crest toothpaste and my Brill cream for my hair. Yes, I used to have hair at one point in time. And I put the Crest toothpaste in my hair and it was like kind of stiff. So you get things out of sequence a little bit. Yeah. So how was the Biotine? Or what did you use there, honey? Biotine?
Biofreeze.
Biofreeze.
Yeah, Biofreeze is today's Bengay. It's a roll-on.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't go on my knuckles because Michael and I have been working hard getting our new garden prepared because I was so successful with our heirloom tomatoes last year. We want to get some more cucumbers and make some more pickles and have some more produce. So we have been working hard today.
So how's that going to work now? Speaking of RVing, how does that work when we want to go out in the RV and we're going to be gone for a while?
Automatic sprinklers.
Automatic sprinkler, and always happens to have good neighbors, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Our guardian angels. So today's show, now, shall I go ahead and get started, darling?
Yeah, tell us. I did start off with some rails to trails because speaking of things that are new, we have a new video out with rails to trail. It's the River Mountain Loop in Henderson by Boulder City.
Yeah, it's interesting you said Henderson because Henderson and Boulder City are right next to each other.
They are, and the trail actually goes through both, and it is a 35-mile trail, and that's our new video, so be sure to check that out if you get an opportunity.
And it comes about that close to Las Vegas, Lost Wages. So, when we got to the north end, we were pretty close.
When we were perplexed because we don't get lost, we thought, oh God, are we on a trail toward Vegas?
I think that's what you wanted to make a shortcut.
Exactly. Yeah. So we want to find out what's new in your world. So make sure to leave us a comment and tell us what's going on with you. And Michael's got some show notes besides our rail to trail information.
Okay, we'll start off. So we're going to start off with what's new with TYP. Now,
TYP. Hi, Kathleen. Long time no see. It's good to see you.
Hey, Kathleen, welcome. So, TYP is not thank you, partner. When I play bridge, and your partner puts down the dummy hand, it's, oh, thank you, partner, whether it was a good or a bad hand. But no, in this case, it's what's new with your travels, what's new with your purchases, and what's new with you. So, Kathleen and everybody else, if you want to kind of share with it, or if you're watching this after the facts, go ahead and put it in the comments. And we'd love to kibitz about what's going on in your life. So, that's number one.
Hello, Camping Therapy. Good to see you guys. And as Michael said, you've got new things going on. Please go ahead and leave those in the comments. We'd love to share with people.
Yes, exactly. And so we'd like to kibitz on whatever you've got going on there. That comes from a kibitz bird that kind of watches others. So we want to comment on what's going on in your life. So let us know what's going on, and we'll kind of segue in your topics as well here tonight. That's always cool. So
Kathleen's on a camping trip now in the back of the Missouri River. Is there snow at the Missouri River? Does it?
Good
snow
question.
In Missouri, doesn't it?
It does snow in Missouri, sure. But we were when I saw that the other day, I don't know if it was Kathleen talking about, I think it might have been, but I was saying, we were on the Mississippi last year, not the Missouri River, right?
Right.
But they're both whoppers. And let's see. So I know that Lucy, their Wonelli, she got a great video that just came out on one of our fun places, the Desert Bar. That was a good time down in Quartzsite. We thawed out, and I think we're both back in California, different parts, about 100 miles away from each other.
Yeah, not too far. We're going to have to make sure we get together soon.
Absolutely. So our topics today, I'm going to go run through the topics before we run out of time here. So I guess that, we're finally got some good news story about COVID relief. So we'll talk about that for one of the items, because I think it does affect RVers. Next up, independent RV park liability laws are changing in 5 states. One state already had it in place, but it's kind of interesting to know how liability laws change, and it will affect us if you're in an RV privately owned park. Harvest Host is raising their prices yet again, but if you're a grandfathered member, well, we'll talk about that. You're okay. Go to RV. They recently got a company, and they got RVillage, and now they just got another one. We'll talk about their new company. If you're grandfathered in, though, you're in good shape. And so overnight RV parking is who Go to RV has just acquired. We'll talk a little bit about that. Camping World is on the road now. They had their ultimate RV show down in Florida, and now they're starting to go across the country. Next up, Winnebago's new EKKO 24C. Well, it's not going to be manufactured. We'll talk about why that is. Next, RVers' demand on national parks is changing. And Grace.
Yes.
The Golden Gate recreational area, we're no longer up there at the top of the pack. Somebody else bumped us down. We'll talk a little bit about how that is. Yeah, we're still not bad, but we'll talk about why that is. But hey, ours, we don't have an overnight spot anyway. So
that's true.
One that came up and bounced us out, they overnighters. Okay, further guidance on filmmaking at national parks. We'll talk about that. As you know, is that they've been kind of a little picky with some people that are just YouTubers, and they're not really getting in the way. And there was a lawsuit, and they just recently gave some further guidance on what that means. RVillage did a survey, and here's kind of a good Q&A. I know Grace has a question of the week, but this question from RVillage on their survey is, how far down the road do you book your reservations? And I don't think that means 50 or 100 miles. I think they meant, is it a month or 6 months, or, it'd be interesting.
I was going to say about 2 miles down the road when I get on my phone and find out what's around me.
That's us, honey. Yeah, that's right. Not so very far. If we can't see it, we don't make a reservation because our life is a turbulent. Anyway, item number 11, what job has the third highest growth in 2020? And it has to do with recreational vehicles. So think about that.
2020?
Yeah, for last year.
Okay.
Yeah, what job had the third highest growth? I mean, it was almost like 100% growth. So that's always kind of interesting.
We also have an update on Rails to Trails. There's 2 trails making the news this week. We'll be talking about those for those of you that like to either bike or ride horses or walk on those wonderful trails. We'll share some information there.
Okay. And the last is we'll have a question of the week. What type of videos do you love? Would you love us to do? So Grace, do you want to start off with the Rails to Trails, or where do you want to slip that in?
Well, I would actually like to start off more with, if we're going to do the questions of the week this week instead of next week, I would rather start off at the beginning. So Michael and I have been kind of going over our criteria and our agenda and some of our shows, and we find that they're a little eclectic. I mean, we are traveling in the majority of them. So whether it has to do with gadgets for traveling or gadgets with biking or going on the Rails to Trails, and sometimes we're kind of all over the place from week to week. So I started thinking about what do you, because the reality is without you, we wouldn't be here. So whether you leave comments now or in the notes later, which of our videos do you enjoy? Is it the Rails to Trails? Is it
which is kind of meaning bike riding?
Right, the Rails to Trail, the bike rides, or is it the adventure and the camping and the traveling, the stories, the history? What else did I have on that, honey?
Well, the DIY, they've been some of our big hitters, and like the ones we've done on the the fantastic fan or the microwave replacement. So that's yet another option. In fact, I've got one kind of in the can almost, which is on cellular, different types of hotspots and strategies when you're out in the boondocks. But
right, and you still need to do the solar video. We've got a whole bunch of videos in the hopper. So we just wanted to get your thoughts. You know, is it the do-it-yourself, the travel and the history, the bike rides, the how-tos? So if you could leave us those comments, and we can definitely appreciate your feedback.
yeah, and if you want to talk about them too, just go ahead and put your comments down below. I see Camping Therapy says, I'm going to an event. I book as early as possible. Yeah, for sure. You know, we've learned the hard way that if you're going to a national campground like this one right here,
Shenandoah.
and if you're going to be there like on a Saturday and come in at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, you're probably not going to get something if it's a busy time of year. So yeah, that's something that we need to kind of be aware of, and we try to. And it says you like adventures, you know, and I guess our RV when we're well, I'll tell you, I'm going to segue for a second. Traveling Robert, you know, he does a lot of nice narrations, commentary, voiceovers, if you will. Russ does down at RVer TV and things. And, you know, they're kind of, it's a day in the life of is what they might call these. What is the hero's journey, you know? So, yeah, provided, I guess there's some kind of a, not just expositional, just blah, 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 but it has some kind of method or moral to it, then I think those can be good stories. So thanks for that thought.
Camping Therapy says that usually at group events, he plans early. And I definitely agree, because a group event has a structured calendar. So there's only going to be so many spots. There's going to be a lot of people wanting the same date. So that I always book early as possible, as soon as I know we're going to be going to an event. Mm-hmm. Whereas if we're just kind of on our own, we really have a difficult time trying to lock in certain dates, because it goes against the grain of what we really like to do. And that's just go whatever way the wind blows. So if we want to stay a day later, or if we want to skip it all together. So sometimes when we lock in reservations, then we kind of feel forced to go down a road that might not necessarily be where our destiny is taking us on reservations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hi, Grassroots Living. Thanks so much for being here. We loved your question and answer tonight.
Yeah, that was great. Tell them some of the people aren't necessarily aware of a premiere. Okay, yes, so you know what a premiere is now. Tell us about it.
I didn't know what a premiere was. I kept thinking to myself, Shalane, that you were doing a really good job multitasking, because you were looking right at the camera and you were answering questions. And then I saw you conversing with people in the group, and I thought, how is she doing that? And she's not even looking down at the keyboard. And so Michael explained to me that you're actually there to chat during a preview of your latest video. So I thought that was really cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, see, well, Nellie's just like me on serendipity all the way, girl. You're right. We're going to get along great. We got to get together and do something.
Absolutely. But getting back to Camping Therapy, when you said about going to group events, so there's Northwoods, Corey and Nori, you know, they're going to have something up in Michigan when the thaws out up there. And I guess the state is kind of opening up, because people are now, they've opened up for reservations, or everybody's calling in. You think they would do it online. And then Mike and Jen with RV Lifestyle, they have, I think they're going to probably do it in the Midwest, like Tennessee. And I think they only allow about 50 in, because they don't like it to be too big and out of hand. And then the one that we like to go to, and it'll be this summer, I think in Wyoming, if I'm not mistaken, and that is with the Escapers subgroup, the big X for mostly millennials. But hey, they let us in. So hey, we'll act like millennials when we're there. But yeah, those types of things, you don't want to wait till the last minute. What's that?
Or the chaperones.
Yeah, there, boys and girls. It's kind of late. No, it's really funny.
Turn down the music.
Because what happened last year when we went down at it wasn't at Quartzsite, but they had it north of it there at Lake Havasu. And when you get your little baggie when you check in, they said, okay, one of the things in your bag is a pair of earplugs. So if people are making too much noise at night, hint, hint, put your earplugs in. In other words, don't complain. I mean, obviously, if it's 2 or 3 in the morning, or people are running generators or hitting pots and pans, not that. But yeah, it's kind of understood that if people want to stay up later and Grace knows I'm the night owl. I'll say, oh, I'm good with that. But yeah, getting the reservations early. Thanks for bringing that up. That is interesting. And you booked Mayberry. Yeah, we would love to go to Mayberry. And so yeah, we're seeing about them making the reservations, and they're doing it a little different this year. So you're not just in like one tightly knit area. I know that they can be anywhere in the Mayberry area. If we were getting to the East Coast, the right coast, if you will, we would love to do that one. But yeah, that would be a fun thing to do.
Hello,
and
Northwood.
It says, yeah, but having a budget does make it tough if you're traveling far. Hey, and good to, speaking of Corey and Lori there. So good to see you. Hope you guys are doing well. And it's always fun to watch your shows there. And if for the members, they have a, I think it's Thursday about supper time for me, a little bit later if you're on the East Coast. But yeah, be sure to watch their shows. Oh, they're starting to kind of do a refocus. They're up to about, I think, 2,000 members. And don't tell anybody, but I think we're 925 last we talked. So we're getting close to the 1,000 mark. So it's good to see we're making some traction. But I guess, like Grassroots Living, a lot of others there, once you get that 1,000 mark, let us know. What does it feel like? Does it feel any different? Now we're looking forward to the community channel, right, Grace?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
We'll have some good COVID news update.
Okay, so yes, let's go ahead and get into the show. So are you ready for 1.9T? Grace, are you ready for 1.9T?
1.9T?
Yes.
1.9 trillion?
That's right. You got it. Well, it's not pure RV news per se, but the overarching financial story right now is the $1.9 trillion for the COVID relief bill that looks like it's going to be a go, whether we think it's good or bad. But I guess the $1,400 checks are in the mail, as they say. So it might be another week or so. But I guess the commander-in-chief needs to sign off of it. But I think the mechanisms is there. So if you do your electronic deposits or payments for your taxes and have that your checking accounts, or I should say your bank accounts, that I think like last time, didn't we just got it wired directly, right, Grace?
Now that's a threshold if you're under $75,000 per person or $150,000 per couple.
Pretty close, 80,000 per person or 160,000 for couples. So yeah, right. And who knows? And maybe it'll change by a couple of dollars, but it was like, I think last time 200,000, and they decided to make a little bit less this time. But yeah, and I don't know if that's adjusted gross income. Haven't looked at the details of their 5,000 pages now. I know it's less than that, but they're very pithy. P-I-T.
Well, I know I haven't been back to work since last March because it was a little bit of a too risky environment for me to be in.
Do you want to talk about that at all?
I had actually gotten a part-time job up at our casino, and it was really fun. I was having a great time because it was a very social community. So I was enjoying it. But when the COVID thing came out and people started handing me their cards with Kleenex in their hand, I was a little like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm going home. I'm going to hibernate for a while.
It was, I mean, some of the people really capitalized on it because the employees, you want to eat before you shift. You want to eat at your break. You want to eat after your shift. It's, hey, free food has no calories. Well, yeah, that's not quite true.
We had our own food court. We could go in before our shift. We could go in during our lunch. We could go in after. We could eat 3 meals a day there.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, hitting the 1,000K. That's I guess you saw the note. I don't know if you popped it up already.
I did. Kathleen says that she's going to put it back into the economy via Mitch lighter gas and fuel price. Oh my God, tell me, girl. And if you're in Texas, you're getting those $2,000, $10,000 electrical bills.
Oh, then there's that for some people. That with the gas, I guess. But yeah, we were really happy like a couple of weeks ago when we were in Nevada. It's like, the gas or diesel is so cheap. I didn't know whether you wanted to wash with it or drink it or shower with it, but it's about $1.50 cheaper than it is in California. So, 1/3 less is a substantial saving. Our taxes on gas are killing us. You'd think we'd have the best roads. That was the auspices on the last 50% a gallon increase. But, well, I don't think they've got the pavement yet. Anyway, so going on this issue, so yeah, we're thinking that this will certainly have some stimulus in the RV economy, and that's a good thing. So getting to the next topic then, in terms of what's happening with legal issues for our RV parks. Well, it's, you know, if you haven't been watching lately, the voters, the lawyers, and the lobbyists, not necessarily in that order, are behind the laws of our land. So the independent, privately run RV parks are going to be making some changes in some of the states. It turns out that the lobbyist, this is the National Association of Parks and Campgrounds, they've made some advances in a handful, 5 states now, where they're going to limit the liabilities. And it's basically, it's going to make it like what happens at ski resorts. I had a French foreign exchange student stay with myself and my daughter about 40 years ago, and she was kind of amazed about how in our states is that there's some liability on behalf of the ski resorts, whereas in France, where she came from, you're on your own. But at any rate, this is kind of coming to some of our campgrounds. So that means is that, like a ski resort, and Wisconsin already has this in place, by the way, but Alaska, Connecticut, Mississippi, Maine, and Indiana are going to be the other states where it's coming. And that means is that if you slip, hurt, get fall, in other words, if it's uneven land, if it fallen trees, stumps, roots, that kind of thing, you have to have some personal responsibility. And they're saying is that, let the buyer beware. But I don't know for embedded rocks how that works, but just be aware is that the laws are changing.
Well, I think we agree that that's long overdue, because in order to keep these parks open, we have to have some self-accountability. We can't, otherwise they're not going to, why would they stay in business if every time we make a mistake and we fall and trip and they pay the price?
Yeah, it goes too far one way or another on this type of, there's no exact right answer, but I think the way that the ski resorts do it, it's like the ski resorts, they just can't have, all of a sudden you're going over a cliff, they have some responsibility to put some signage up there, but stuff happens. If the snow melts, they can try to reasonably put something if the rocks are, now kind of exposed. But similarly, if you're out walking in the woods in a national campground, you got to be careful in some of it. So I guess some of that's going to extend to us. So hopefully it's all reasonable. But, I guess that along that note, the same organization, did you know that they've had some successes in shutting down some Walmarts and Cracker Barrels, Grace?
No, I didn't.
Oh, how about that? That doesn't, because that's kind of competition for them. What?
There's Walmarts that are closing?
Well, there's some Walmarts that are closed in terms of not letting people stay overnight. Now, there's a whole host of reasons. I mean, if people are not behaving, or if the Walmart doesn't really own the lot and, the city has an ordinance, there are those types of things. But from what I understand, is that this lobbyist organization, if you happen to have like a private campgrounds, they would just soon not have you stay at these free public places. Right. We need to be a little bit, careful in terms how the sausage is made, so to speak.
So Grassroots says, Shalane says that she loves the scenery in California, but can't afford to visit the state. Yeah, and that is true. It's harder to find boondocking around here too.
Amen, sister. I mean, we do have some BLM land, and we do have some of the national forests, the dispersed camping, if you want to call it that. So, but it's not as prevalent in, like Nevada, half the state is owned by the federal government, more than that, actually. Arizona, a lot of it is. So, we don't have as many of Army Corps of Engineers is like a lot of other, say the southern states have. We wish we did.
But Grassroots Living has friends in California now, so that'll help.
And that's right. That's right. Come on out.
Yeah, come on over.
We'll show you the ropes. So next up on the list is 331 million is our population in the United States. And the RV Industry Association has forecast 46 million planned to take an RV trip in the next 12 months. I think that's good news. What do you think, Grace?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So kind of piggybacking on that, now let's talk about Harvest Host. They just received a $37 million investment. I was like what?
Wow.
You know, this couple that own, I can't remember their names. We had them.
And they're raising the price?
Yeah, but let's kind of hold the phone just a second there. So, you know, what happens when you get investment like this company Stripes is it's an investment partner, and they specialize in software and consumer markets. Like, hey, Harvest Toast, that's a consumer market. We'd love to work with you, and we'll. How about if we give you a cash infusion of X million? I don't know how many million they bought into the partnership for, but they said we'll invest $37 million. That would, you know, get your attention, I suppose. So they said, oh, yeah, we got other people will come along. We got this Lightning Partners as a financial advisor, and Cooley will be our investment bankers, and it'll be all good. Well, all of a sudden, you're kind of like, do you really have that much control? It's not a mom and pop company anymore. But Harvest Host is springing up. And so, you know, their corporations are, when they see that all this money come in the RV industry, it is going to have an influence on it. Some good. Stay tuned. But how about for Harvest Host now, Grace? Grace talked about the cost. So the classic membership is going from, well, they raised it to $49 a year. Now it's going to be $79 a year. And if you want to go for the plus plan, then that goes up even. Oh, I'm sorry. The Harvest Host, it goes up from $79 to $99. April Fools. No, it's April 1st is when it goes up to $99 a year. So it went from 49 to 79. What?
Doubling?
Pretty much. If it's 49 to 99, I call that doubling.
Wow, that's 100% increase.
Yeah, you kind of wonder. I mean, they keep on adding more, but you know, it used to be if you used it once or twice, you got your money's worth. But now it's. But the good news is, Grace, as long as we keep our membership, we're locked in at $49.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you haven't got it for the 49, I think it's maybe even it's less than 79 now. But you know, if you wait till after April 1st and you say, "Oh, I'm new to the business," it's going to cost you more than us grandfathered seniors.
Well, that's funny because I was just remembering Michael's mother and father had a long-standing joke where Michael's father would say, "Stick with me, honey. One day I'll buy you diamonds as big as horse turds." And so I'm thinking, wow, now that he's a senior and we're saving 50% at national parks and the national recreation and everything else, now we're going to save money on Harvest Host too. So, hey.
Well, I thought I had the diamond there that my father gave to my mom on the 50th wedding anniversary. It's plastic, yeah. But yeah. I don't have it here right in front of me. But that was the standing joke there because, you know, they were farmers from Minnesota and they used to joke about that kind of stuff. But at any rate, so if you've got your Harvest Host, it is a good deal. If you keep waiting, though, with these price bumps, I guess the point I'm trying to say is just be aware is that our nascent industry is picking up businesses. And so don't be surprised if some of them are not always for the best. Now, so far, I think when it came to go RV, where they bought RVillage, they're saying that they're going to keep it the same. And this new one that I'll be talking about in a little bit, it looks like they're not going to be raising prices. You get more for your money. But stay tuned, right? Because this too will change like the weather. So at any rate, RVovernightparking.com, which has a website there that you can go to. And it's, you know, got a big database of thousands of places to go boondocking. So whether it happens to be for our grassroots living friends or all the rest of you out there, it's good to kind of know where there are places to stay, and people kind of like Campendium where they put their notes on what works well. So something different than your traditional hookup campground. And so at any rate, that's something that will be coming up and being linked up for those of you who have the RVillage and the To Go Plus members. You'll have free access to that, which is kind of cool. What do you think, Grace?
On Harvest Host, we've had it for 3 years now, and we have still not even used it. We've got to do better at that.
We are, but hey, I'm going to keep it with it. It's gone up double in price, but we will start using it more. And actually, we have up until this point in time, pretty much some places we only stay a day or two at a time if we're on the move. So for that, it's perfect. So, and some places will let you stay for more than a night. Some of the other RVers have told me. So that's kind of good to know. So
what
okay.
else do you have on that? What's new?
Well, I'm not too much on this one, but just that Camping World, their ultimate RV show. It's been, I think, about a month down there in Florida. And I see that RV Lifestyle, Mike and Jen, and in fact, I think I started to mention they're going to be doing one this year. And so they went to see that and see what some of the new RVs are. And of course, since it's sponsored by Camping World, it's going to be their types of RVs. But I guess that it's been going really well. It's heading for other states near you. So if you wanted to, you could go to the Camping World website and take a look at. They have recorded some of their live streams, so you can kind of
nationaltour.campingworld.com/live-stream.
That's a long one. Yeah, we'll have it in the show notes there. But or you could do a Google search. Just search for Ultimate RV Show, and I'm sure it'll take you to Camping World if you want to see what the new stuff is that's coming out. If you want to, some of it, like us, is just curiosity. In fact, the next item is on the Winnebago, that new EKKO. It's kind of energy efficient and has, all this cool stuff. And I guess they just figured that there just wasn't enough of demand for their smaller one. Now the 24-foot, the 24C model.
Is that how it's pronounced? EKKO?
Yeah, EKKO, EKKO,
Okay.
EKKO. I think everybody does these plays on words these days. So I guess they're going to do the smaller 22A. But I think a lot of people, my opinion is, they're saying, well, for about the same money, I could go ahead and get a Winnebago View, which a lot of people, there's even the View clubs or the Navion clubs. So I guess a lot of people said, for that much money, they wanted the other plan. So, the smaller one, it doesn't have the slider, and it gets this combo shower cassette type of thing. It does have the solar that's built into. You get 450 watts, which is about what we have. We have 400 watts in our Class C, and lithium batteries that are all for part of it. It has all-wheel drive. For some people, that is kind of nice.
Oh, that is nice. We might even made it to the desert bar.
Yes. But I've got to say, they've got a 6-cylinder gas, and that might be okay. But I'm really kind of enjoy getting our 15 to 17 miles to the gallon in our Sprinter version in our Fleetwood Icon.
Yeah, that was a big plus for us in making our decision.
Yeah, but the price on it is a paltry $163,000, which is for just a little bit more. You can get the View or the Navion. So, I don't know. We'll see how they do. But it's nice that the industry is trying new things. I think some people want some of these bennies, but as long as it's reasonably priced. So that's too bad. But Winnebago is trying things. And if it doesn't work out well, they just say cancel the people who have made the reservations, give them their money back. Okay, national parks, Grace. Do you want to read a little bit about national parks?
All righty. So the national parks, the attendance was down 1/3 last year, primarily due to the restrictions with COVID. But now there are 15 parks that have actually had big increases in attendance. So in a total of 230 million days, what? Did I say that right, honey?
Something like that. 237 million day visitors.
Is still quite impressive and helpful to the tourism industry. I would say that's a lot of people. It's a little too crowded for me, actually.
But it is interesting, is that I never really thought about it. A lot of these people don't spend the night. They go in for the day, and that's fine. Thank you. They don't own RVs, and they get their, a daily dose.
Right. And I have to say that there are big advantages to spending the night. We found that out even at the Valley of Fire, because we had been there a couple of times during the day, but at night, it's like a completely different world because it's a lot less congested and a lot less busy. And it's almost like it belongs to you then at night. So there are 8 million who stay overnight. And the demand for the massive 469 miles in the Blue Ridge Parkway National Park.
Is that a lot?
That's where I went to
469
San
miles?
Francisco, Golden Gate. That makes sense, though, because the Golden Gate Recreation Area last year,
Yeah.
you know, Michael and I, in one of our bathrooms, I took off wallpaper, which is a story all in itself.
Not our RV bathroom now. This is the home.
Well, and it's the, I call it the Golden Gate bathroom because it's got a light blue paint, and then all of the pictures and all the things that go around them have to do with the Golden Gate Bridge. And we want to get a bigger picture. And there were several times that I wanted to take a ride at sunset or sunrise and get some good shots. But all the parking around that area was closed down because of COVID. So that's probably the reason that it overtook San Francisco Golden Gate Recreational last year, the Blue Ridge Mountain Parkway.
And look at New Horizons, what they had to say. Smoky Mountain visitors hasn't slowed down. It still remains the highest visited national park. They should be doing this show for us. They really got their stuff down. Amen. You got that. Nailed it. Here. Oops, sorry.
It is beautiful.
Nailed it.
You nailed it.
The Smoky Mountains, they're absolutely stunning. And Michael and I were very blessed to have an opportunity to stay in those in 2019.
Mm-hmm. So are you finished on that topic?
Well, except for the just out last Monday, the National Park Service is dropping its former requirement for low impacting filming until further guidance is issued. The NPS will not require location fees. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's about time. You mean I can finally get some pictures? And
you can now start, just shooting away. Now, not weapons, no firearms in parks, please. But yeah, if you've got a camera, let her rip.
Now, what about if somebody's getting married? Can I take their wedding picture there?
And read on some more, darling.
Okay. It says non-commercial and news gathering, provided the film crew is 5 persons or fewer and using
5.
equipment that can be carried at all times.
You could have a second and third shooter, and you could still do it. You could have another person with remote lighting and still do it. You could have a fifth person with audio recording equipment, and you're still fine.
But drones are still not permitted.
Oh gosh, when you wave that finger, it gets my dander. All we can say is
I'd like to take a brief moment to offer my apologies. Could I be more sorry?
we're sorry. No drones, not in the national parks. But this someday will change, I'm sure. But so anyway, it is good to know. But I guess the bottom line is if you're one person or 5 people, is that you got to protect public safety. Don't get anybody hurt or do something dangerous. Have cables or big tripods out there, lighting systems. And also, of course, for their resources they have, their wildlife. Don't make too much noise, and make sure that whatever you use, you don't say, when we were at the Grand Canyon, you don't set up gear and then have it there for half an hour. Got to keep moving. So you can't hoard the facilities. And so I think anyway, it's all, I think, makes pretty good common sense. But I'm so happy that even if you're doing something commercial, it used to be they would hey, and I can't remember who the couple were that caused this to happen, but hey, you two, you're making a lot of money on RV, and somebody somebody reported to the government that you have a commercial channel, you're getting hundreds of thousands, and we're going to fine you. It's come on. You don't need permits for a couple.
That, I think they cut their nose off to spite their face, because I've always believed that they're getting free publicity. And I know national parks probably really don't need it, but sometimes it's like Yosemite has in February, the waterfalls, by the way the sun sets, picks up the light, and they call it firefalls. And it's only one time of the year. And I never knew about that except for a YouTube video.
You have to be at a certain angle one day of the year, and it goes on for a half hour when the sun comes up. But the water coming off the falls, it looks just like a fire, which is interesting because when I was a boy, 60 years ago, 60, they used to take a spot up there, not by Half Dome, but up in the top, and they would have a dozer, and they'd light these fires, and they'd make it over the falls before it would be fire combustible. and you'd see all this, like, it was like a 4th of July type of thing. That was a cool thing they used to do back in the days before the ecology people said, well, that's not so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is actually, it's just the water being hit by the morning sunlight. And I love what Corey had to say here. I think it was, oops, you changed it, honey. I got to go back to it. Here it is. This one. Can I bring my 100-foot selfie stick?
Yes, definitely.
You make me laugh, Corey. It had to be him. But I do have a 25-foot selfie stick. I've not really used it yet, but it's one of those long ones, like a fishing pole. Then you put like the adapter so that you can put your GoPro. It can't be a heavy camera on it, and it does move a little bit. But yeah, you can do remote recording and things. So yes, you and I, brother, we are there.
So Dean says, "Wow, how old are you, Michael?" So,
I know.
The answer to that question is old enough to chew cornbread without choking on it.
I'm a boy at heart, 71 years young, and I haven't grown up, but I still like to have fun.
So Dean also said that he had lived in the mountains of North Carolina for several years. And it's funny because ever since we were there, and then shortly after, we started watching, honey, help me. I always have the hardest time remembering the name, and I absolutely love this series.
A series of what, darling?
The one where she goes back in time.
A TV show?
Yeah,
Movie?
She's in Ireland or Scotland.
Oh yeah, Outland.
Outlanders, the Outlanders. And so I think it's about the 5th season that they're living in America, and they're actually living up in North Carolina in the Smoky Mountains, and they're taking the Appalachian Trail all the way to New York to get their son-in-law. So every time I think of the Smoky Mountains, I see the Outlanders now.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show. So Kathleen says, Michael, we're entitled in our second childhood.
Yeah, boys and our toys in my case, but girls, you should have your toys, or if you like to just do the travel. I mean, for me, it's like, if I get a capital assets, I guess Grace brought in her iPhone the other day and was showing all the stuff in the office. But yeah, if it's whatever your passion is, I think at our age is that, and hopefully we like sharing and we like to make the world a better place. So that's kind of what I think Grace and I are all about. And yet it's still nice to be relevant. So when you spend a bunch of time like this last video that we did, it was, 21 minutes, really? But, we had a great time doing e-biking, that 35 or 36 miles around the trail out there by Lake Mead. And we like to see your videos too. So it's like, I think that's what it is sharing is caring. Well,
I just have a question there, because Kathleen said we're all entitled to our second childhood, but in order for that to happen, wouldn't you have had to have grown out of your first childhood at one point? Yeah. My husband is a child at heart, and when he's not a child at heart, he's a dog at heart. And I say that in the most loving way, because he's never met a dog that he doesn't like, and no dog has ever met him and not liked him.
That's beautifully said, darling. Thank you. I resemble that statement.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. The next item I have is RVillage. Speaking of which, they had a February 10th post that they pinned. It's got over 200 comments. And I don't know if you subscribe to them, but it's their question is, how do you plan cross-country stops, and how far down the road do you book reservations? So we'd like to ask you that question. And this person who asked it says, we are newbies taking our first trip across country, and we're struggling with the planning phase and becoming frustrated. And I remember Les Junkmore Journey, I can't remember her name, but she was talking about, that she spends quite a bit of time, or used to, in terms of, doing the planning. So I don't know if your arrangement, if you have two people and one of the spouses does kind of the planning. There's another RV couple that just started up, and they've been propelling, kind of like the Odd Couple. We won't get into that, but this other couple, they're doing great. And I think they probably had a platform before, because when they came over, oh, they're getting tens of thousands of subs right away. But, she was saying this, that because she does project management, everything has to be on a spreadsheet for the year. So she's got everything booked through November already. And Grace and I are not quite, that's not us.
No, we're more like, hey, you want to go this weekend? Sure, let's go.
Yeah, and in fact, one of the great ones on that, if I can segue, was Grace. I was telling her that, someday I'd like to go up to Eureka, up by the Oregon border, northern part of California.
That's a perfect.
And I'd like to see the kinetic race. It's one where it's a human-powered race. Some of it you go across land, some of it down very steep sand. It's called the Dead Man's Drop, I guess.
Yeah.
Then you have to go across water, part of it in the Eel River, and part of it's pretty fast. And it was a 3-day race. And, I guess it was only a couple days before Memorial Day. And Grace says, it's this weekend. I said, let's pack. And it worked out beautifully. And
it was a blast. It was so spontaneous. I would say the only regret I had is I did not know how many, what was it on the beach? Was it fleas or mosquitoes or?
Oh, the mosquitoes. Yeah. If you were where it was kind of like Minnesota and I guess in Michigan too, for you guys in Northwoods there, is that, if you don't have the breeze on you and there's no smoke or something, you better have some repellent or something. But, that was eat you alive. But we found that if you stayed up high, there was a little bit more breeze and they didn't stick to you. Yeah.
The camping therapy is heading out. So I wanted to take a moment and thank you for being here. We definitely appreciate you.
All of you. Yes. Thank you very much. It's been great to have you here. And I know it's for the people on the right coast, it's kind of getting late and it's sleepy time. So
Kathleen,
cheers. Happy trails.
To Humboldt County, where they used to grow a lot of legal marijuana. I will say that the guy Holbert, was it Holbert Brown?
Holbert Brown, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, Holbert Brown came up with it, and when his children were little, he wanted to inspire them that basically you don't ever have to grow up or live a life of just going to work. And so he came up with this concept for the kinetic races. And I personally would say, if you like adventure and you like a good story and you like to follow the journey, if you have an opportunity, go. It is a lot of fun. We had a blast. We have a whole playlist for the videos, so you can check them out. So what else do we have here, honey, that you want to cover?
Now you got me going.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's getting memorabilia.
So here's a good for instance. It's like, no, that I've never owned a gun. This is paintball, but I have a grandson that it's like when he came to visit us, we said, I want to do paintball. It's like, next, I start getting paintball equipment, go out with the 16 years old. And sometimes they come back. I've got a couple of welts on my side there. And Grace, what do you say?
Oh, okay. So that's when we were watching Ragnar.
Yes.
Which was
the Vikings.
The Vikings. And so Ragnar, he's bad to the bone, and he's tough. And so prior to him playing paintball, I pinched his nipple or something. He's all, ow! And I told him, Ragnar up. So he went out playing paintball and he came back with bruises all over his body. And so I had to buy him a big old shirt, Ragnar up. So he's Ragnar now.
Now I've been Ragnarized, yeah.
I like guys.
It's fun to have things that you can do and enjoy life, and whatever those things are, their passions. It kind of reminds me of the movie City Slicker with Billy Crystal, and Jack Palance was the cowboy that knew it all, and the other kids they were not the cool kids in. But he learned in the movie is that eventually this guy had all the secrets of life, and he asked him, he said, just one thing. And then later on, it's like, well, what is the one thing? He says, that's what you must find for yourself.
So Dean said he thinks you look like one of the Power Rangers.
I can resemble that comment.
So I do want to take just a moment. I started the show off with a video, and it talked about the Rails to Trails Conservancy. And we did have our video out today. And I do have some exciting news for those of you that like good trails. in Indiana. This is actually Park County, Indiana. The governor has announced a $5 million grant to expand the Rails to Trail. And now it is actually part of the price of everything is going up. It's $29.6 million grant that will help build 70 miles of the new trail development. So that is in Park County, Indiana, for those of you on the East Coast. And then closer to us here in California, I am really excited about this. This project is called the Great Redwood Trail. And it's been quiet for the last couple of years, but one of our senators, Mark McGuire, just recently asked everyone in his remote audience to close their eyes and imagine a strip of land, he said, roughly 50 feet wide and running for 320 miles from the edge of the San Francisco Bay in Marin County through the vineyards of Sonoma County, where we live, showcasing the stunning beauty of Mendocino County through the redwoods and oak-studded hills of the, I always say this wrong, Eel River?
Eel. It is the Eel. Yeah.
Okay, the Eel River Canyon. And then you're going to end your hiking adventure on the fog-shrouded shores of Humboldt Bay. So millions of dollars have already been invested. There is an introductory bill, Senate Bill 69, which once and for all will disband the North Coast Railroad Authority. And it's actually bankrupt currently. So that's going to purchase it. And in the end, this trail will have 19 major trestles, 38 bridges, and 42 tunnels, the longest of which is 4,313 feet long, a 4,300-foot tunnel.
Now, say that again.
The tunnel will, it says, this is quote unquote, 38 bridges and 42 tunnels, the longest of which is 4,313 feet long.
Wow.
Right?
I don't know where that is, but Grace and I would love to go up in the northern part of Idaho to the Hiawatha Trail. I don't know if any of you have ever been up there, but we've heard that, and I think that's probably over a mile, but that's phenomenal, some of the long tunnels.
What's your guess on the price tag for all of this? All of this can be yours.
Hold on. This isn't Monopoly money. Let's see. I think it was about $35 million is what the Golden Gate Bridge cost. Don't ask me what it's worth today, because I know it's in the billions. So, oh boy, $5 billion?
Did you cheat? Did you read my notes?
No, you didn't give them to me, or if you did, I didn't see them. How much?
$5 billion.
No.
On the money.
I was going to say 30, and I just maybe that was too high. I don't believe it. Maybe I heard it in one of those things you mentioned. I guess I just picked a number.
Kathleen said she wants to ride that on a horse.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's going to be a phenomenal. I mean, can you just riding through the redwoods alone on a safe trail? Michael and I followed. I forgot what it's called when you do the wagon behind the bikers. What is that vehicle called?
Oh, sag wagon.
Sag-wagon. Sag-wagon. And it was really scary because the bike riders are on the edge of the road that they're sharing with automobiles. And sometimes automobiles will get really impatient. Then other times they have these big logger trucks and pieces of redwood bark is flying off. So it's just, for me, not the safest of conditions. I have zero interest, but put me on a path with just the redwoods and hearing the ocean, and I'll be a happy girl.
So we have two north-south. One is US 1 in, the everything odd numbers is north and south, right? East-west is even numbers. So 1 would be on the coast. And it's very, very windy on lots of parts. And then the other is the Freeway 101, and that kind of is about 20 to 40 or 50 miles inland. And they both have their attractions or the downsides. So we like to be safe bikers and not end up in the hospital.
Bikers?
bikers when we're biking. Not that kind of bikers. Silly girl. Anyway, I have one other item, that extra credit. I'd say I was getting back to what is the third fastest growing job in 2020.
Oh, wow.
Does anybody have any ideas? It has to do with RVs. And once I tell you, you're going to say, oh, of course, I should have known that. But what do you think?
Camp host.
That's a great guess, honey. And I wonder if it really shouldn't be that one, but I don't think that was the third fastest growing among all the jobs. But Kathleen, yes, around the truckers there.
Oh, Kathleen's got a good guess.
Hey, get the bell, honey. Let me get it.
Oh, yes.
Nailed it.
Yes. So, it is the RV technician. For year-over-year growth was 97%. That means they doubled the amount of people. And we know is that if you have your RV to be worked on, one, start watching YouTubes and do it yourself. Or number two, go word of mouth, like I guess Diary of a Family with Garrett. He just got his certification when we were down in Quartzsite. Great guy, and he's coming up to speed very well. And so, by the way, the number 2 spot, honey, would be right down your neck of the woods, a personal shopper. Like, really? I guess. And the number 1 job is one that you almost got into, Grace. I don't think you're going to come up with it. The number 1 last year, the job, more than any other job, this one had a bigger percentage growth. And when I tell you, you're going to say, oh, I knew that, but you won't guess it. You applied for it.
COVID.
Right. A health screeners.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
I didn't get that one.
I know.
I'm just calling to let you know you've got COVID.
No, when a person has you kind of say, well, but who are you around? What was happening? How did you catch it?
Right.
It's not the easiest job. And I think in our case, in our case, because Grace didn't know a second language, and a lot of the people who have it in California are people, minorities, Hispanics. And so, she wasn't selected. Maybe it was just for the best, but that was number 1.
Yeah, there's always a plan. I got to do the census. So Kathleen wants to know what she wants. So Kathleen, I will be right back. Let me go in my crafty little room over here.
No, look on the left side of her screen there. And if you see, she's got that beautiful husky picture. Well, I guess it could be a wolf, but her office is much more functional than mine. So the number 9 job is much down more your way, Corey, down in the North Woods type of job. And the number 9 position is a cloud solutions architect. It used to be everything was the big mainframes, and they had the client servers, and they had the mini computers and microcomputers, and now everything's on the cloud. And the average salary for a cloud solutions architect is $137,000 a year, Grace. Not bad. Yeah. Now that's an architect. I used to, before I retired 20 some years ago, when I was a young pup, I was a software engineer. And if you're an architect, you're, not just an average slouch. You know quite a bit about, the architecture of the hardware, the software. So, it is a better job, but there is a big demand for that. And we know that the good people over in Amazon, their Amazon service is, they've made many billions of dollars. And all other companies like Microsoft. So what you got, honey?
Okay, so I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to go, I should say she's joking, but seriously, visit our Smug Mug and pick a picture of your choice. I'll put it up there. There's a bunch of different choices. This is Bernie Falls.
So go a little slower, honey. Wait. Show it a little bit more, because it's great pictures, but get it to the right angle so we can see it.
Well, yeah.
There we go.
It's got cellophane, so it's hard to see.
But if you just change it, that's a good angle.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different choices on our Smug Mug. Seriously, pick one out, and we will go ahead and send support at California Travel Videos, and we will send you your choice. That was a good win. I mean, how many people get it on the money like that?
There's the link. smugmug.com/apps. No, that's not right, honey.
Oh,
They can't. It doesn't have our link there. You got to have the California travel video part of it. That's not going to work
okay,
for
hold
her.
on.
Or you can just write us, Michael@CaliforniaTravelVideos.com, however you want. But yeah, we need something a little better than that, darling. So
Okay.
she'll be working on that. But we do have tons of different photos that can be made into, it's kind of nice to have them in your RV or wherever you like them. We have some ones of the Golden Gate Bridge, different images in our guest bathroom upstairs. So who knows, wherever you think they are appropriate.
Exactly. And I know where to find the site now. It's actually under our About section of California Travel Videos. It's got the link to SmugMug right there. So go ahead and click that, find the photo of your choice.
Hold on just a second. Why don't you put it in the chat just so people know, because you said but you didn't tell them what our site is. They're probably thinking it's YouTube. But
our YouTube California Travel Video on our page, on our About page.
Oh, okay, there you go, on our About page.
That's what I said. Michael sometimes misses the subject line that I give him.
I just missed one word.
Okay.
Sorry.
Or one email or one paragraph.
Sorry.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. We feel better now.
definitely.
So thank you, darling. That was very generous of you. That's nice. And Kathleen, you definitely deserved it. Good win there.
You had some fantastic topics for us, so definitely look forward to seeing what we've got new next week, including some information on the Burning Man. So be here if you can, same bat station. And we definitely thank you for being here this evening with us.
Yeah, and like I say, if you have, or Grace said, I should say, if you have any thoughts, ideas, suggestions, or things for our weekly live stream or for our other recorded shows, fine. Now, our next show that we're going to be pumping out is going to be from a place that we just really had an awesome time. Grace, tell them about our next show. Our next video.
Right. It'll be the video on Valley of Fire, and it's going to be the top 8 that we know of right now, favorite things to do. So stay tuned. We'll have that out sometime this week.
Mm-hmm.
Or wait, yeah, this week after you build that fence for me.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. Speaking of which, we'll kind of finish with a little bit about personalized with ourselves. So, and I think some of you will relate to this. Grace mentioned a little bit of it, and that is that, we've got a garden on one side of the house, but we were looking to have somewhere to have some melons, some cantaloupes and watermelons and some other things. And so, but before you know it, you got to get some topsoil. And then where we live, the gophers love our backyard. I haven't tried to eradicate them. We have about 6/10 of an acre we live on. And so
you have a nice red-tailed hawk helping us, though.
Yeah, that's right. And we've also had blue herons that have kind of thinned out some of the gophers. But so anyway, we had to put hardwire cloth down, and then you get these, I don't know how much these blocks weigh, honey, but I think they're over 50 pounds actually that we got. And we got 80 of them. So we're getting some good exercise.
They're 40.
You want to make a bet?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to bet? A drink? A
yeah.
libation?
I'll tell you what. I'll bet you a 5-shot drink. And on that note, we're going to
That is enough. We've been here an hour, and Grace, I think we've done due diligence on this. Thank you all for being here, Lucy, and all the rest of you, Kathleen. It's been wonderful, and I hope you have a good evening and a good weekend, and can't wait to see more of your videos also. Thanks for shopping, being with us, and besides that, if you got here after the fact, you made it to this end, thanks for hanging into the end, and let us know where we can contact you and get caught up on your videos also, because we're here to have good times with you, if not on the road, wherever. So should we close it out, Grace?
Yes. Thanks so much for being here. Happy trails until we meet again.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Peace out. Bye for now.